We're learning more about President Trump's executive order suspending immigration from Muslim-majority nations. There are reports it applies not just to refugees seeking asylum, but also to legal permanent U.S. residents. 7 migrants that were supposed to be on a flight from Cairo to New York City were stopped from getting on a plane. 6 of the migrants are from Iraq and 1 is from Yemen. Multiple other Iraqi migrants were detained at JFK Airport in New York City. 1 of them has since been released. CBS News digital journalist Alex Pena is at JFK Airport right now. Alex, it's my understanding that we are hitting the critical moment of the day when lots more international flights come in. What are you seeing?
So I'm actually inside the arrivals terminal right now, where actually families are gathering. People who are waiting for their loved ones and their family members to arrive are beginning to gather here at the terminal. I'll actually turn you guys around here now, and you can see. So this is where they'll be coming out if the family members are able to exit. So we've actually seen lawyers coming up to family members waiting here and asking if they've heard from their loved ones yet, because they're trying to find out how many people are actually being detained here. I just spoke with a lawyer recently who's from the Refugees Rights Organization, and he tells me he's unsure because as more flights come in, more people are being detained.
So right now, one of our clients has been released from illegal detention, and we're currently waiting on our second client. But at this point, we've heard from numerous people that a number of people are still detained here at JFK, and as flights are coming in, additional people are being detained given this executive order, and we're hearing this is not just here, but all around the country at ports of entry.
So this is a growing problem right now as people are essentially bunching up in the airports.
This is a disaster. You can see in the arrivals area, families are waiting for their loved ones to come, and we're not sure if they're going to come, depending on what country they're coming from. And so we've got teams of volunteer attorneys canvassing the arrivals to see if there's any way we can help and provide counsel.
So again, here at the airport, the families are waiting, just as that lawyer says. That's Mark Doss with the Refugees Rights Organization telling us that they're here trying to collect information on how many people are actually stuck here at the airport. People who very possibly have legal visas to enter the country, but due to President Trump's executive order, are not able to enter.
Alex, I want to ask you about the refugee lawyers that are there. What advice are they giving to the people who are arriving right now?
At this point right now, they're actually collecting names. So the lawyers are coming around and they're asking family members for their relatives' names, what flight they were on, and they're essentially trying to create a database of people who are locked inside the airport right now or just being barred from entering the country. So that's their goal right now. This is also new. This has happened within the last 24 hours. So the lawyers are trying their best to find legal routes into the country. I just heard from one lawyer who was up here asking, and she says she may have as many as 5 clients who she worked with on immigration issues stuck inside the airport. She's not exactly sure if they're here. She's just trying to find out that information. So a lot of essentially chaos legally for these lawyers who have worked really hard to get their clients into the country, and now at last minute are being held and detained here at JFK.
Is there any advice that you're hearing from officials there at the airport? Will they be getting any new guidelines on how to deal? Because it seems like it's not a consistent policy of who's being detained and who isn't.
It's not. So we know that the translator who was released earlier today, he was a translator with the military, had the executive order essentially waived for him. That's what they're working on for the second refugee we know who's been stuck here since early this morning as well. So that's one route. Again, the lawyers say they're putting in all the paperwork that they can, because at the end of the day, it's an executive order that is legal, that can prevent their clients from entering the country. But they're working through the legal system themselves right now, just trying to find any little loophole that can get them in today and then possibly work with them later on.
Alex, we're looking at the crowds outside of JFK Airport. How have the protesters expanded since you've been there early this morning?
Yeah, so I actually arrived here a few hours ago when this happened, and there was a handful. When I arrived, there was one person, and he was out there with his sign that said, no ban. Now there's probably dozens, probably 30 to 40, 50. I haven't been outside in a little bit, but I estimate more or less that's the amount of people that are there, and it's growing. The word is getting out. People are using social media. It's a very immediate situation that they're reacting to, not knowing how many people. So they're getting very passionate about the issue out front. I was standing here when a couple of protesters essentially went inside the terminal where they're not supposed to be and started chanting no ban, and the police removed them from inside the terminal. So it's not getting hostile at all, but there's a lot of passion involved within the last 24 hours to find out that these people who essentially had legal visas to enter the country are now being banned.
Alex, one quick question. We're hearing that people at the airports are being given religious tests to determine whether they're Muslim or Christian. Is that report true?
Unable to confirm that right now. The lawyers are, again, just trying to create this database. So they've only spoken with essentially that one man earlier who today was released. So they're having a hard time just getting in touch with their clients to find out what they even went through. So I believe within the next few hours, if anyone is released, we'll be able to touch base with the lawyers and ask them that, what did your client go through? What sort of legal basis did they use to detain you when you presented your visa? We understand that some of them made it through customs and then were detained by CBP. So a lot of legal loopholes here. No one really sure what to do. But again, that is a question we're going to ask the lawyers in terms of, what are they facing? And if you have family members on a flight right now that are arriving to JFK, what can they expect when they land?
Alex Pena, CBS News digital correspondent there at JFK Airport, monitoring this developing story. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.